Hello, everyone, and welcome to Soul Stained Ink. My name is Beth, and I just wanted to come on and do a little mini wrap up of the last week or so of May. I think I've said this about everything we've done this year, but I've kind of been a terrible co host and a terrible book club host. Um, to be fair, I do have a lot going on, and May is always the end of the school year. And normally I still do like a book a day in May and we're just rocking through it. But this year has had a lot of extra stuff happening. So while I understand why I've been absent, and I'm sure you guys understand why I've been a little bit more absent this year for March and middle grade May and everything else, um, I still feel terrible about it. But I wanted to come on and just tell you what I've read over the last 8, 9 days or so. And then I'm going to try to come back. I have some videos planned with Elena. Um, and she has left to go to camp, and we didn't get videos filmed before she left because we thought we had tonight to film them. And then um, my parents were like, can we just get her tonight? And then, because they're going to leave as soon as church is over tomorrow, they're going to head out. And it was just going to be easier all the way around, which is great. But now we have to wait like a week and a half for her and I to be able to make our wrap up video. And she really, really, really wanted to be in on the wrap up video and the video where we talk about Alice in Wonderland and Treasure Island. So I'm going to give you my basic stats and then the last couple of books I finished for the month, and then everything else we will rehash when I've got the big kid back. So technically, I read 15 books in the month of May, although in actuality, I read 18 books in the month of May because I have Alice in Wonderland written down once. I read it 3 times, so that makes 17. And then I read 2 different versions of Treasure Island. One was an audio version that I read with Elena. That had like the whole cast. It was like a radio audio version. I don't know. It was awesome. And it was very much adhered to the book. So I really didn't have to read the physical copy, but I read that as well. So technically I did read 18 books, but on Goodreads, it has me as having read 15. Now, I'm not sure what the last book is that I was talking to you guys about having completed. However, I'm just going to go with the 3 I finished most recently. The first one being Clockwork Sparrow by Catherine Woodfine. This is the first in the I want to say Sutherland's, but I don't think it's Sutherland's. So you'll give me a second and I will hold on, the little one's talking to me. It's the first in the Sinclair mystery series. So Sinclair's is actually a department store, and Mr. Sinclair is a crazy, filthy rich American who has come to London and opened up this huge, extravagant department store. Um, but our main characters are 2 mystery-solving shop girls. So we have Sophie, whose father was rich and took good care of her, and then he went away on a merchant. He was some sort of merchant or something. No, military maybe. Anyway, he went away and passed away, and his will, they couldn't find his will, or he hadn't put anything in for her. Anyway, she's an orphan and she had to get a job and take care of herself. So she grew up like very refined. She should have had her coming out, but now she's working as a shop girl in the milliners at Sinclair's. And then her friend Lil, she meets in this book. She's beautiful and she wants to be an actress. and she is working as one of Sinclair's girls who model dresses and hats in fashion shows for the wealthy women who come around. And then they meet a couple of boys that help them out in this book as well. But the big mystery here is that Mr. Sinclair has all of these uh, priceless artifacts, basically, lots of jewels and all of these amazing things. And a clockwork sparrow gets stolen, and the girls end up discovering who it was. So they're in the mystery. It's so well written, and it's the first in a series. And so excuse me, I only own the first one in physical copy, but I am currently listening to the audiobook of the second, which is The Mystery of the Jeweled Moth. Um, and so I have just kind of figured out what the mystery is. There's a new character that was introduced at the very beginning of the book that I am loving, because this is set in the Edwardian time period, and the new main character in the second book is half English and half Chinese. And so we're getting like her grandfather's stories that she's thinking of, and they are living in Chinatown. And so it was very, very interesting um, to have that at the beginning. And then now we've gotten back to Sophie and Lil. So I am looking forward to the rest of that. However, we're all out of school, so there's no telling how long it's going to take me to actually listen to the audiobook. But I am excited for it. Now, the next book that I completed, oh, and I gave that 4.5 stars, by the way. The next book I completed is an audio from Audible, and it's Zero G, the first in the Zero Chronicles by Dan Wells, Emily Wu Zeller, and Margaret Ying Drake narrating. There are uh, voice actors in this. I gave it a 3 out of 5, and I honestly can't remember most of it. It's There's space pirates and it's sci-fi, and I mean, it was good. I think a lot of it had to do with I was trying to listen to it at the end of the school year, and so it was lots of starts and stops because, well, I was out of school, the girls were not, and so I was listening to it in between, like dropping them off and picking them up from various activities and running back and forth for things. Um, so, you know, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. Not super memorable for me. Look at this awesome cup. Sorry, I'm drinking hot chocolate on June 1st because we finally got to meet up with my best friend. We normally do Christmas with her, like go see Christmas lights and things sometime at the beginning of December, and we didn't get to this year. We had not seen her since June or July last year. Like, it had been almost a year since we'd seen her. But she made hot chocolate bombs for us, and so I didn't get to drink them in January like I normally do. So I am enjoying a cinnamon hot chocolate, homemade hot chocolate bomb in my brand new mushroom mug, and it makes me happy. And, you know, if my air conditioner has my house at 66 right now, you mind your own and let me enjoy my hot chocolate. The final book, which I did finish today, this morning, but I only have like the last 20 pages to finish, is I Will Find You by Daphne Benedis Grab. Now, this looks like it should be like a thriller. It's not. I mean, look at the font on this. Like, if you are reading the back of this, if you are looking at the front of this, you think that this is a thriller. Olivia, Leo, and Gracie were the last ones to see him on their 7th grade field trip before he went missing. They don't want him back with their group. He's a school bully and none of them like him, but they each have their own secret reason for needing to find him as soon as possible. They are sure that there are clues the police are overlooking. When they decide to investigate, they quickly discover that things are more complicated than they seemed. Nikki's victims made a plan to get revenge on him, a plan that's gone terribly wrong. Can they find out where Nikki is, or is it already too late to stop this revenge from going way too far? So again, that sounds like it's a thriller, like it's a middle school psychological thriller. It's not. What it is a really good finding friends and uncovering a mystery type of book. It is really, really good. However, I don't feel like the cover does justice to the actual story. The three main characters, Olivia, Leo, and Gracie, they are placed in a cabin with Nikki. So it's the only co-ed cabin on this camping trip that the seventh grade is taking. It's kind of a last minute rearrangement. And Nikki, like the back says, is the school bully. Nobody wants him in there. And each one of them, like Olivia, is really aggressive and over the top. Gracie is kind of very shy. Leo is trying to fit in with all the manly men, boys are boys, hockey players. But that's not really who he is. And so he tries really hard to fit in with the in crowd, basically. And so none of them are really friends at the beginning of the book. None of them like Nikki. And then Nikki disappears from their cabin. And so Gracie thinks that something she did is the reason why he's gone. And she feels really like guilty about it. Um, Olivia wants him found because she knows that the people he's bullied, including her best friend who ended up having to move schools last year because of his cyberbullying, um, they have compiled evidence and are going to blast it out on the school social media site so that adults have to realize it was him. And then Leo, he thinks that Nikki stole his knife that he borrowed without his brother knowing it. And it's his brother's prized possession. And so he thinks Nikki stole that and he has to steal it back from him, right? And then the person in charge of watching over their cabin is their English teacher, who's like everybody's favorite seventh grade teacher. And she ends up getting put on leave because a kid disappeared out of her cabin. And so the kids are like, we have to find him and make him pay and make sure that Miss Becker doesn't lose her job. And then like they follow clues all day and slowly kind of come to understand each other, become friends. One of the main characters has a little brother who is autistic, and so like there's a point in time where they're talking and she kind of opens up about her 5-year-old little brother who is autistic and the things that he does and how some people like call him weird, and really the term is neurodivergent. And the kids are like, oh wow, I didn't know that. And so there's like a good discussion of that. So there's not an autistic main character, but there is people dealing with autism who are main characters, and they kind of discuss how it's affecting them. And I think that is just as important as neurodiversity being represented in teens, is them how they deal with those kinds of things. It was beautifully handled. It's just a small piece, but it made me love the book even more. Um, Almost got to 5 stars, but didn't quite, probably because I was really hoping that this was going to be more of a thriller, but it turned out to be really, really, really good. Um, so if you need a middle grade book for middle grade March Mystery Madness next year, I think I Will Find You would probably be a really good one, as would The Clockwork Sparrow, by the way. So those are the last 3 books that I completed in the month of May. I am still reading The Wolves of Greycoat Hall. I know I told you I was starting it like 3 weeks ago. The thing is, Elena stole it from me in the doctor's office, and then I had to go search through her room and steal it back. So I am working on that one, and we'll hopefully have it done soon. And then all the other ones I told you I was going to read, I'll continue working on them over the summer and get back to you as soon as I can about whether or not we like them. I will talk to you again soon. I hope that you guys have a great weekend. And until next time, stay safe out there. Bye.